Content. What is the main idea? The main idea of the readings is about a barangay, which is a small unit of society. At the present, we call it a family, where the existence of parents, children, and other members of the family we can find.
Who creates the source? This source was described based on their experience within the context of their own time. And this was Father Juan de Plasencia, entitled The Custom of the Tagalog. His writing described the people in their social statuses in a time when Spaniards were completely unaware of our pre-colonial background. Furthermore, it is important to understand the writings of Father Juan de Plasencia because the Spaniards will quote it forever as their prime authoritative source to show just how primitive we were and how great their contribution was to our development.
What is going on when the source is created? The Filipino people has their own culture and custom before the coming of the Spaniards. Chiefs or dato govern the people and they are the captain in the war. The people obey them. In that village or barangay, there are three classes of people, namely, first, chief or dato maginoo, second, timaos, ordinary people, and maharlika, and third one, slaves, oripon, and alipin.
Connection. What is your prior knowledge and your newly acquired knowledge before the Spaniards came to the Philippines? There are already three social classes of people in the Philippines. Since they are governed by datus and chief, they obeyed without complaining. They are tasked to their functions and responsibilities. The lowest class who serve their master and has to do the cultivation of the land and are also captives in war are the slaves. So they are the most merciful ones. At present, there are no more social classes ruled by the chief. But instead, we live in a democratic type of government where it is will of the people, by the people, and for the people. We have already freedom and we can do everything we want. As to the classes of people, there are rich, middle class, and poor people.
Communication. Is the source reliable? Yes, because these sources were described based on their experiences within context of their own time, and it was also described in some documents written by the priests and Spanish government official who visited the different parts of the archipelago.
How does the source contribute to your understanding of the past? Life is hard before and after the coming of the Spaniards. I was not born yet that time, but because of my subject in history, my history teacher taught me everything about this. The values that was acquired are hardworking, industry, and obedience to all the laws and principles governed by the chiefs or datus. Being slaves is not always to remain slaves, but work hard to earn a living and have a standard way of living. The improved may transform you to become rich. If you are determined to become successful in life, there are no barriers in life that hampered as long as you are person committed to change life and living it to the fullest.
Social classes among Tagalog. Chief, Maginoo. Equivalent terminology among Visayan. Dato. Duties, Tagalog. Who govern them and were captains in their wars, and whom they obey and reverence. Characteristics. A community leader and have a highest social class among others. Social classes among Tagalog. Maharlika. Equivalent terminology among Visayan. Timawas. Duties, Tagalog. In times of war, Maharlika were obligated to provide and prepare weapons at their own expenses and answer the summons of Datuk. Characteristics: they did not pay the tax or tribute to the Datuk, but must accompany him in war at their own expenses.
Social classes among Tagalog. Number 3, Sanggigilar, on the other name, Halon. Their duties: they obliged to become a slave as punishment of debts, and they need to obey any kind of service or slavery. Their characteristic: a servant that live around the house of their master. And the last social classes. Number 4, the slave, Alipin, on the other name, Oripen. Their duties: they serve their master in his house, on his cultivated land, and may be sold. Their characteristic: had the least rights. They are not exactly slaves in the traditional sense, but they were indentured servants.